Good evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Today we have on Kelly Green. Kelly, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Kelly is a fantastic guitar player in a fantastic band, Madame Radar, and they used to be the, the Texas KGB, right?
That's right.
It was obviously Kelly Green band, like whole thing, which is confusing at first. I'm like, wait, which one or two bands, but now you guys changed the name, bring it up to speed. Isn't aware. I want to check out obviously, but you're also in a second band that's all female, right? Pact. What's it called?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought we
Pack.
Oh, Pact.
Pack.
Okay, yeah. Thought we could talk about that too also today. But
Absolutely.
prior to that, if we could just, I want to roll back and talk about the most importantly, was incredible about your band before you say anything is the fact that your brother's in it, your husband's in it, and your brother's girlfriend is in it. I'm correct. So
Yes.
that is the dynamic of that band, and you bring dogs on tour too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Our dogs go everywhere.
so I don't know how it's not the murder van of everybody being in the same car together for so long. I get that's impressive enough. You guys are all happy together, let alone the music. Um, but let's start back a little bit further back. So the original version of the band was named after you. Like
Yes.
how'd that happen? Like it was about you, and then how'd the band evolve to what it was to what it is now?
So funny enough, the Texas KGB started from another band. There was a band called Jason Lee, and it was a band with my dad and my husband Jace from the
Mhm.
Texas KGB. They had a band together, and I joined their band. Basically, I came in as like the merch girl. I was like, I'll sell shirts and then let me play on a couple songs. And then once I got up there, I was like, well, I know this song too. You might as well let me stay for this one too. And then I just never got down. I became a part of their band. And we did that for a few years. And kind of we were playing with a lot of people that had kids and families, and everyone was kind of just ready to go home and,
Mhm.
you know, kind of settle down. So Jason and I just started to start our own band. We came to Austin, Texas, and it was he, I, and the drummer from the band, Jason Lee, whose name's Dog Burnett. He's a former wrestler and fun guy. Uh, but we did that for a couple years as a trio around Texas. And then my brother, Cody Lee, who plays drums with us now, came out and originally just played tambourine and saxophone. And then we kind of we realized like, oh, we want to take this in a different direction. Our other drummer went to go play with David Allen Coe. So we were like, oh, this is great. We'll start like a completely different project.
Right.
And then we played that as a trio for a couple of years until we started really looking for a bass player. And then we went through a bunch of them and then landed we found Violet on Craigslist.
That's crazy. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys sound fantastic. I mean, the version of that. So basically, you start off as a merch girl, and passive aggressively, you've taken over everything. I'm just
Exactly.
harassing you. You're a fantastic guitar
No,
player, and
you're not wrong.
I like to joke, but no, but your band is all of you are fantastic. Your husband's got a great voice, great player. All of you are just hands down, and you can tell there's a chemistry. That's why I'm joking with you because you guys do have
Oh, yeah.
a great chemistry. It shows in your all your videos, your tour videos are hilarious and fun.
Thank you. We really are best friends. And this one thing that, when people see us, they're like, wow, you guys actually like each other. But we do, we spend all of our time together. We have game nights and then we work out a couple of days a week together and, stay motivated. And it's a really, really cool team to be a part of. It's not like anything else I've ever really done. And I'm really grateful for it.
Well, that's what I think it is. I think you built the perfect thing without realizing it. So now it's just to appreciate it and respect it and to nurture it, all of you. You know,
100%. It's
because
like a
this
marriage.
doesn't.
It's hard work, because on any given day you can be hungry or cranky and you just have to support each other, and you take turns being like, no, today's my day to be the crab.
Yeah, I mean, then it's gonna be a challenge just to be in a band with a relative and your spouse. Like it's like, what'd you do today? Same thing you did today.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, I already know that. Like it's got like, as far as that goes. But let's talk about like your guitar playing. You've been playing since you were, I don't know, like six or something. And I know you learned from your
Yes.
dad, and you're killing guitar. And that's how I came across you. I think probably on Instagram, right? Come across most guitar players as of late. and
Yeah.
really started getting so backwards got into you first, and then got into the band. You know, um, but at this point, you guys got a pretty slam band because you did one or two albums under the first name, and as you changed, and now you're Madam Radar, and you've got one, two albums or one? No, two,
This
right?
just released our
Okay,
second under Madam.
right, yeah. And your big single right now is Hands, which is a great
Yes.
song and a very sad video.
Yeah, thank you. This song
Breaks
is
my
really
heart.
wonderful.
Oh,
The song itself isn't a sad song, but we wanted to we joke around a lot and we have a good time, but we want people to know we also have a serious side. And I had an aunt that passed away from cancer this year, so it was kind of a tribute to her. But also, the concept of holding hands is so simple until you realize you can't hold hands with somebody. And we wanted that to come across in the video. And more than anything, when people watch that video, we hope that they just want to touch somebody that they love. So that's the whole point.
it is, and it caught me off guard because I don't always watch live videos, and I really love live music, and I love live YouTube, and even if it's a band with a camera, because you can be forgiving. I just love the live, I love the mistakes, and the nooks and crannies in music. But when I come across a video, I go, "Oh, I haven't seen this video. I've heard it live a million times, and I listened to it." And I saw the video. I'm like, I was not expecting that. I sat down with a box of tissues or something. I was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's so sad."
Yeah, we didn't warn anybody except for my mom. I let my mom know it was going to be sad.
Well, we've all been affected by cancer. I've had people I've lost in the past year, a couple of people with cancer. So, like, when you see it, it does hit a nerve where you're like, all right, it's gonna be a 5 minute Hallmark moment with some good song, a good song to it, because it's gonna tear you up a little bit. How have you? So it feels like you guys have taken a lot of advantage of COVID, not what's going on with it, but you've made good use of the time, you know, with working on
Yes.
music material.
It was strangely a blessing for us, because we are full-time musicians, so if we're not gigging, we're not really making money. And whenever the world shut down, especially like here in Austin where we have a lot of regular shows, we were like, what are we gonna do? And we saw a lot of our friends doing the live streaming thing, and we thought, okay, let's give it a go. And it started off in my living room, just kind of like we'd put it together every week for like 3 or 4 weeks. And finally it was like, oh, this kind of pandemic might last longer than we were thinking. So we cleaned out our second, our guest bedroom, and we created a scene. And for 66 weeks, we did live streams,
Wow,
and we covered so many of our favorite songs. And it was great because the band really got to sit down and really rehearse for the first time. Usually we kind of like try stuff out live, but now we were sitting down and we were going over really complicated songs together. And it really just made everybody progress as musicians and singers. And then also, like that kind of teamwork really, it's team building moments. So we got
it
to
is.
get closer and more unified as a band.
I think playing covers to a lot of people, and to me, like it's always like when you play guitar, you play a song, and you learn somebody else's. Even if you're not into the song, you realize that you're playing it. You're like, oh, I didn't know that chord was like this. I didn't know that changed. That is interesting. That's a lot smarter than I thought that was when I heard that in the elevator or something. Like you're like the composition
Exactly.
changes to you. You get a different appreciation. Sometimes it can go negative. You're like, oh, really? That's all it is. That riff I've heard forever is that those three. You know what I mean? I've had that
Yeah.
happen. But for the most part, you're like, oh my god, this is awesome because you learn it, and it helps you as a songwriter. So with
Yeah,
all those songs,
definitely.
it must have changed or added to your songwriting as a team.
It stretched our music vocabulary.
How are you picking out songs for that? Is it just people bringing
So
you in, or
um, basically we were also writing, we were trying to write a song a week individually, so we were having like all these originals kind of come out. But for the covers, we were doing a fun segment on our show. We called it our mystery theme set, and we would pick 3 songs and we would tie it together to a theme, like stop, drop, and roll, or something like that. And people would guess, and if they won, they would win a prize, and we'd ship them something. So that's how we were picking all these covers. It was kind of just we create themes and then try to find songs that would make the theme work. And we did some really cool stuff, like I don't know, like "Witchy Woman" by the Eagles, and stuff that if you don't need to know it, you're not going to know it. It's just a great song, but when you sit down and really go through it, it was like, oh wow, okay, this is cool.
That's actually happened when I played. I was learning an Eagles song. I'm like, because it's always in the background. It's like you hear bars and elevator music. It's like it's all right, but you've heard it so many times over and over again, and then you play it. You're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, and that was actually an Eagles song, for example, for me that actually started to turn my mind around on learning other people's songs just for that reason alone.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that
it's
is an
cool.
Archangel sweatshirt you're wearing there, or shirt.
Yeah, we just went
Nice.
on tour with them. It was awesome.
They are awesome.
They were
Charlie
really cool.
Saxon, awesome.
Yeah, Doyle Bramhall. And then Chris Layton is one of my all-time heroes. So, I mean, I've watched him since I was a kid, documentaries, music, just like watching shows and stuff. And to sit down and be able to talk to him and shake his hand and watch him, right in front of me was something else.
And they're like they probably have statues all around Texas for those guys. I mean, they're pretty much legendary between Doyle and
They are.
Charlie and everyone else. I mean, they're just
Yeah,
yeah,
they had Eric Holden on bass, and Tommy Shannon wasn't available, but Eric Holden did a wonderful job, and I don't know, they were great. It was cool to share the stage with them.
that's pretty awesome. How many shows do you guys do?
We did 3 shows with them.
How was the audience? They must have really loved you guys because there's a
It was
very strong similarity.
awesome. Yes, our music paired really well together, and we did really, really well. I'm proud of the guys.
That's really cool. That's really cool. What's also great about all of you, well, you everybody sings, but you have three lead vocalists. That's pretty cool. So you can
It
trade
is really
off. You got harmonies. You guys sound good together. You got the family harmonies in there too, a little bit. You know,
absolutely one of the things that I really enjoy about that is you can kind of bring the best of what you have to the set because you're not having to fill an entire night by yourself, In a
mhm.
40-minute set, I might sing 2 songs by myself, and then we have a couple songs where all 4 of us actually sing lead too. So it's kind of it's really fun to do group vocals and then switch off lines, and it's stuff that it reminds me of like bands back in the 60s and 70s, and I feel like it's not done as much now. It's usually like somebody and then they have a band. You may or may not know the band, and we're really
Right.
trying to push the band. We're like, we want everyone to know all 4 of us, kind of like, I don't know, just to to share it, and there's a little bit of something for everybody.
You were going to say the monkeys, right? No, no, but seriously, no, but more like Fleetwood Mac in a serious note, where everybody is an accomplished musician, could go out and do their own stuff. Or you can go, or anybody else, you kind of come together, and it is the chemistry of everybody together is built upon, you know, and no one's overriding each other. It shows in the songs, which is funny because I mean I'm sure you guys have a ton of original music between the
Yeah, we
four of
do.
you, but you guys actually have a fun cover of Radar Love, and I'm sure because it's a play on the name, and you guys are already having
Yes.
fun with the name Madam and Radar already put in the what the heck is called with the backwards spelling. So you guys are already having
Yeah.
fun with the title. So I mean,
Some of my favorite bands have like their own theme songs, like Bad Company. Like if you have a song with your own name in it, it's really cool. So that was kind of like our like a little nod to that, I guess, in a way. But we're like, yeah, Madam Radar, Radar Love, and our fans love that. That's usually like our ender, and we throw down on that one. It's a fun version.
it's a good song though. Just in
It's
general. Like
great.
if you don't like that song, then there's like no space in my life for you. Like who does
Yeah.
not like I mean, and who doesn't air drum to it? Who doesn't the break? And you're like, oh, this is the best, It's it's too good a song to not enjoy. Where are you now? Because obviously we're coming for holidays and stuff, and you have a couple dates in Texas. What are you looking at in 2023 to really work that album out?
Yeah, so we're gonna finish the year kind of here, and we're working on a few projects. We're trying to knock out a few more music videos.
Mm-hmm.
But next year we're traveling all over from Florida to the Carolinas. We're going up to like Rhode Island, New York, and we're gonna head over to California, Arizona. We're
But
gonna
that would be good to see you on the road. I mean, I think that's where you guys really are. You're a good live band. You sound even just on YouTube videos like the record. You really are a four piece. It's not a solo. Like I came across you solo. I admit it. It's just guitar player, and you
you
had a
know
band. Yeah,
and they do social media, but that's not like their thing. They all actually really love video games, and I hate video games. So I feel like Instagram is my video game. I'm like, this is just a game that I can play. that, and
Yeah.
it takes up some of my time, but I've made it work for me. And
Well, that's the thing, and they can do Twitch, but I wouldn't have known them because I also don't do video games. For some reason, I can appreciate it, but
yeah.
I just can't put the time into so many other things I'd rather do. Like
Yeah, for me, I'm like, I
like
would
nothing.
rather
No.
flip on my guitar.
Yeah, I'd rather play guitar. I'd rather just look out the window and play no,
Yeah.
just
Actually,
anything.
yeah.
It feels kind of counterproductive to me to pretend I'm somebody else. I think is what it is when I have so many other things I could do as me. You come
Yeah.
home, your kids are like, "Well, I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I just built a farm. I got to put this person to work, and I finished the house." I'm like, "That's your game? You're playing like a
Yeah.
make believe real life? Shouldn't it be like a dragon or a sword or something?" But
That's so
yeah, you have a
funny.
stronger media presence, and it shows off your playing, which is nice. You know, the rest of the band should get out there a little bit more. But I backwards fell in love with the whole band through you though. You know, I discovered you, and I said, "Oh, what else is she doing?" Because I like to do the deep dive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you sounds
and
like you've done research for sure.
I have, and then like I said, "Oh, this is really good. What is she doing?" And then I'm like, "Oh," and then it's like boom, 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 and I'm watching the videos, and I'm seeing the band and the family, and like this whole thing is just kind of opening up with what's out there. And I'm like, "Wow, this is fantastic." Then you go back and you listen to the songs again, and I think for me, when I like somebody, I have to like listen to it. You'll hear a song and you go, "It's all right." Well, yeah, anyway, not you guys. And then you kind of go back again later on, like you kind of marinate on it. You go, "Oh," you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes out of the box is kind of hard, but then usually those are the bands I usually like for the that stay with me. They're just like a flash because then it's just like a popular song. Then you kind of get the meat and
Yeah.
potatoes where it kind of wears in. And that's kind of what's happening to you guys. I mean, I heard you and I checked out your band at first. I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And I was getting ready. And then over time, I went back and listened to your album again like a few weeks later. I was like, "Oh," like, you know what I mean? It's kind of a
Yeah.
slow burn, um, which is good for a deep diver like me. So I want to encourage people to check out all of your music out there. I'll put the links up for all your stuff too. And please send me links you want to share
Yeah, absolutely.
with
Thank you.
everybody. Why are you doing all this though? So what's this all female band thing going on here too, which is pretty cool. But it's hard. I just want to say this one thing. Being in a female band, a lot of artists are always like, I don't want to be in a band. What's it like to be in a female band? So starting an all female band brings you to the question of everybody saying, "Oh, you're an all female band?"
Yeah, we are an all female band, and it is amazing. We've been doing it for going on, I guess, over 3 years now. It's called PACK, PAACK. It features Carrie Hudson from Carrie Hudson and Good Company, Andrea McGee from Beetroot Revival, and she also has a band called Andrea McGee, Belfast Girl, and then also Paige DeChaussee from the Reverend Few, and then Violet Leah from Madame Radar. So, and we kind of at this point still play like each other's songs. We've not written many songs together, but it started just as having fun with our friends. Basically, we got together, we drink wine, we'd eat lots of snacks, and then everybody fronts their own band, and they're all in bands with their partners. So it's this weird, like we have a lot in common.
Really?
And it fell together very naturally, and it's one of those things that's just kind of exploded. We don't play out often. We do special shows, and then we have a residency at the Saxon Pub on Thursday nights in Austin, Texas. And because we're all in bands that tour and do things, it's kind of like
Right.
nights there'll be all five of us. And if not, we fill in with other friends, either other females, or also we'll have our guys that are in our other bands come and jam with us. Or Ashlyn Shanafelt from the Reverend Few, she's the drummer, will come and sit in with us. So it's kind of a rotating cast. It's part of the reason we call it pack, because you never really know like who's going to be there. But it's one of the best things I've ever been a part of.
I haven't heard the music. I'll be honest with you. I will have to check it out. But here's with me
We're
now. I'm gonna
about
have
to.
to. I'm gonna check out
It's
all
been
of your
very,
stuff though.
yeah. Well,
So I
thank
mean,
you.
everyone now I have to check out solo or
They're wonderful.
Well, you just say you're gonna put something out. You were
Yeah, we're doing a live album recording from the Saxon Pub. Actually, we're going to record in December and put out. It's been very kind of under the radar, but it's really exploded in the Austin music scene. So we're on to something really cool. But it's definitely I'd say it's like a side project for all of us that we're all really invested in.
that's one of the dangers of getting this really cool side project. Also, it starts getting a lot more attention than everything else everyone's been working at their whole lives. You're like, ah. But
It's cool because it's not often do you see a group of women get together that actually like each other, that can just sit in each other and enjoy and be like, okay, this is your moment, this is your moment, this is your moment. So it's cool.
and in fact, if I listen to the band also, you're like, hey, you know what? Because being on tour with you and doing a band she's not, I can't see you enough. Want to be another band together?
I
but
told
but
you
she
she's my best friend. So
she's super talented. She has a beautiful voice, beautiful bass player. I mean, I can see why you'd have her. Obviously, you know.
we put an ad out. We were asking around. We put stuff out on Facebook. We asked some friends, and jokingly, we put an ad out on Craigslist when we were looking for a bass player going on 7 years ago now. And she answered the ad, and we thought it was like we thought we were being catfished. We're like, "There's no way this is a real person." And we met her, and we did one rehearsal, and she looks at us. She's like, "So am I in the band?" We're like, "Oh yeah, you're in the band." And it's been a ride ever since.
That's really
Do you know
really
she's a
cool.
trained opera singer?
I don't know that. No, but that's
Yeah,
it makes
has a
sense.
opera singing voice. She decided to go into, I guess, contemporary music because she was just enjoying being able to write her own songs and do stuff like that. But yeah, she's a very talented singer.
Now a lot of people write their own original opera music nowadays, putting them out.
Yeah.
Waiting for that original opera album to drop.
She actually put out a Halloween album called Songs from the Pumpkin Patch, and it's really cool. You should check it out.
I will. Is it on like Spotify or is it on YouTube? Where is it
Yes,
at?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to check it out. Where are we? So, and then we're going to tour. We're going to do some albums. Hopefully, get to tour like probably this all next year before you do it. Like albums. Like, what are you guys thinking? Some guys like to do an album and a live album every couple of years. I have a feeling you guys have a lot of music to keep putting out, though. So,
Definitely. And putting out an album is so expensive now. It's
yeah,
like it's $20,000 minimally to record. I mean, unless you do something in your own house, but I don't have anything like that set up, and I don't have the knowledge to really do that yet. That's something I would love
not
to look
yet,
into.
not yet,
Not
not
exactly. That's
yet.
what not yet. I've been around it a lot, so I kind of understand, but also like it's above my pay grade right now. But so it's expensive to record an album. But it's also really fun. But I think since we just put this out in July, I think our next step is to do a couple of singles because we do have a ton
Oh
of
yeah,
songs. I think we'll put out maybe even 10 singles, who knows, before we do another album. But I think our next album would be a live album because people I think they really resonate with our live show, and it just captures, I'm hoping to capture the energy
Mhm.
that we have in a live show on an album. So that's like the next goal.
I think it's cool. I think I like a lot of bands do because it's to have it's like a cottage industry, you do it yourself. Where a band like yours can go out and I'd buy it. Like it'd be like, and then on your website, you're like, I did these shows. These are right off the board. You can buy these digital songs live off the board. And then
Yeah.
so it's obviously helping give back to you guys as a band so you guys can keep putting it back into the business and living, you know.
Yeah,
But
that's
also,
nice.
well, people forget musicians need money to live, right? I don't pay the
Well,
landlord with my CDs. It's important though. It's a good revenue stream, especially if you can do it yourself without any overhead, like recording off the board and then doing digital downloads off your site, and then
yeah,
the fans get it immediately. And there's no besides the initial recording cost at one time, you have control over it. You
yeah,
know, those are some options I've seen bands do that would be kind of cool too. But you're not worrying about the studio, the recording, the pressing. You're like it's live, it's digital, going to hold you over.
I like that. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't have to do every show. I mean, if you can, it's kind of cool. I don't know what the demand is for certain bands. The bigger bands do it for
yeah,
everything because everyone likes to have their show. But it wouldn't hurt to have some of your main shows out there, digital downloads, and then you know special shows or whatever. Be kind of
yeah.
cool,
That's a
actually,
good
right?
idea. Yeah,
But I'm looking forward to seeing you. Are you going to try touring like at this level for a band like yours? Are you? How does it work out for touring? Like I don't even know. Like if you want to do like a national tour like next year, do you try hooking up with someone else like similar, or how do you
yeah,
do the markets?
yeah. We'll probably do a combination of both. We have a couple of friends. Well, I don't want to give away anything yet, but we have some stuff in the works for next year. So hopefully we'll do a run with somebody else, and then
Okay.
we have our own kind of run that we'll go do. We have like little followings in little areas, so we kind of
Okay.
hit those up and just keep them alive, and then and we're gonna kind of bounce out to some new areas next year and just, keep finding new friends to hang out with.
That would be cool. I was just kind of curious. I wasn't trying to sneak anything out of there. It was just
Yeah,
more like
no one got
how did the no, gotcha. Next time, reel it in. No, but like as far as like a band being like, because you're not like just a small band, But I mean, you got a good following, I mean, especially to have a following in Texas because they're a Nashville like the Meccas now for music, and it's just probably overloaded with artists. Everyone goes to those two places right now.
yeah,
So
there's definitely
to get
a
noticed,
big.
it's got to be, you got to be up there a little bit, you know.
It's cool. This has been a really good year for us, and it feels like we just keep getting lucky with opportunities. And there's, it's a growing thing, and it's nice to see growth over the last year, especially.
You should. It's well deserved. I'm looking forward to seeing more music from you. I just wanted to get you on today. Next time I said I want to get the whole band um, you know, on the show and introduce them to everybody else too. But I want people to check you out. Good time, Christmas, get merch site, check them out, see the band, support them, and follow them. Any
Thank
last words to your fans or any new fans?
you. .com.